Hello and welcome to T Money Talks. In this week's episode, T Money's going to talk about how they believe they may be traveling to different dimensions or places while they're sleeping. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Hello again. Welcome to T Money Talks. Welcome back to T Money Talks. If you're returning, welcome. If you are new here, I hope you enjoyed the ride. This week's episode, as you heard in that intro, is gonna be kind of messed with the mic cable for a second. Whoopsies. Anyways, this week's episode is going to be pretty crazy, as you heard, but not like crazy, like send me to a psych ward crazy, but crazy in the sense of like it's something you may or may not believe. Because if I'm being completely honest with myself and you, I do not know if what I believe is true. I am completely open to the idea that this thought, my belief that I think this is just what I think I am doing. This happens sometimes, occasionally. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it, but all in due time. I just want to give the quick disclaimer that yes, it's gonna be a wild, intriguing episode, but you gotta take what I say with a grain of salt, folks. You gotta take it with a grain of salt, because I am not a scientist. I am not a neuroscientist. I do not know things about the brain. I am not a dream expert. I'm not a brain expert. I'm a musician, folks. I am a musician, so the science things, like, I don't know. What I say are not facts. What I'm going to go into is what I believe. This is what I believe. This is how I feel. This is what I think. You don't have to believe what I'm gonna say. You could be like, oh no, you're T-Money. You're just dreaming. That's just your mind. And I'm like, oh yeah, probably. But like, wouldn't it be cool if it wasn't? And since I'm not like an expert, which although I would love to talk to someone about this, I haven't done much research on it, just because like what do you Google? Tell me what do you Google? Who would you even talk to? I mean, I know people I would talk to, and I have to talk to some of them about it, which is why like I have come to, like, we've all, like, collectively I've come to this conclusion, so I'm not just kind of throwing this out there to like have a podcast episode about. No, I have done my not what T-Money. I just said I haven't done research, and now you're saying you've done your research. You're kind of backwarding yourself here, dog. Like what's going on? You're right. I do apologize for that. I haven't done like research in the sense of like I googled it. I've talked to like doctors, which I think that would be really cool to like go like talk to, like, whether it be a dream expert or a neuroscientist, like, the brain guy, like Derek Shepherd, where you know what, I'm obsessed with Grays. Let's just throw that out here now. Let's I roped you in this far. You're in deep. There's no going back now. I am obsessed with Grey's Anatomy. I have seen the whole show, all 16, 17 seasons, whatever the heck. I'm caught up. I've seen the whole show far too many times. Far too many times. But I love it, and it's just the best show. I could rewatch Grey's Anatomy for the rest of my life and be perfectly okay with that. Like, I wouldn't go crazy. I would not go crazy, but yes. Anyways, off top, we're dragging off the road. So no, I haven't like Googled it or anything to like see what, like, if there is like a professional thing for it, or like if there is someone you could like kind of be like, oh, here's my like journal, or my like what are those things I had to when you do for research papers, like, anyways, like a publishing about this. I haven't done it in that sense. It's more of in a sense where I've talked to my other friends who are spiritually opened, and or have dabbled, like, or know about astrology and all that stuff. So like those are the people I have talked about this thing, because I'm just kind of like, because the last time it happened, is when I really like got into like talking to other people about it, because I'm like, this feels too real. This does not feel right. This is, for me to like, for it to be a dream. Because ooh, we are going to get into some layers of who T Money is this week. So the thing is, I don't want to go too far into it, because oh well, never, sorry, there's gonna be another podcast episode. It's anyways, but that's not, yeah, haha, just kidding. So yes, I'm so sorry. I'm getting frazzled because like I don't want to overstep, because I have a topic set for a guest to come on the podcast that we're going to be talking about, and I just gotta really, you just heard me kind of discuss with myself, trying to remember that, to make sure that the thing I'm about to say does not relate with the topic that we would go to, because then I wouldn't want to repeat myself. And although I'm pretty sure I have, but anyways, so like I just want to make sure I don't like go into that category and then like, oh my god, now we can't do that episode type of thing, anyways. So yes, you're gonna get a layer of who I am right now. Because the thing with me is, I may not know, I'm not like a scientist or anything, but I've been like obsessed with like dreams and like the meaning of dreams, and like Inception, when that movie came out, that movie, like I was like, yes, I need to control my dreams. How do I do this? I knew you could always do that, So like in a sense, that's what we're going. That's kind of the idea of what I'm going to be talking about this week, is like the idea of controlling your dreams, or whether or not you're in a different reality or a different dimension in your dream. That's what we're talking about, which is why I'm like, it could be crazy. You could think I'm crazy, or you could just choose not to believe, which is why like I always like to give a little disclaimer, so that like what you're getting into, I'm letting you know that like, hey, this is what I think. You don't have to think it. Like, I'm not forcing you to think it. Like, just keep an open mind about it, in a sense, is what I'm saying, because that's how I feel about it as well. Which is why I'm like, if you know this, if you have more information on this, like, please, like, send it my way, and I would gladly like look at it, like read it, and stuff, and like learn more about it. I'm very open to the idea of that I'm wrong, because I'm open-minded, man. Anyways, but yes, I've been like obsessed with dreams and like what they mean ever since I was a kid. Like that's like, it's a little weirdo in, like the science nerd, like that's like the part of me that like not a lot of people, that I don't show many people, which is why like the podcast, like, not, I know like not a lot, all my friends, or I know some of my friends, but not like all of them, not all of them listen to it, which is fine. Like, I understand, like there's no hate, but which is why I'm saying like with the podcast, the reason why I'm okay with talking about it now here is because I feel like I've already made it so intimate. I've made it like me showing myself as what are the words I'm looking for? The truest form of me that you can get is through this podcast. The truest version of T Money, the most you will ever learn about T Money, like, unless like me like one-on-one, and like like past that, like this is the closest you'll get. So this is like imagine like if we were dating, these are the things that we would talk about, or if we were friends, these were the things that we'd talk about, eventually, to deepen the relationship or the friendship, either one, whichever it be, so in a sense, that's kind of what I'm doing with the podcast, but with myself. I'm opening up so many more doors and memories of like who I once was, of all the things that I liked before, just from this podcast, because and I think that's really cool, because now I'm getting to relearn who I am, which is the whole purpose of this podcast. Anyways, as I continue to sidetrack, I apologize. Yes, I've always been like obsessed with dreams. Always. I always wanted to know, like, why can I fly in my dreams? Why do when I'm falling in my dream, it feels like I'm falling and then I wake up, or like, I had this dream, what does this mean? Or, like, I have always been drawn to dreams, because to me, why I like dreaming so much, and like the idea of what it is that you could do anything in your dream. Anything, literally anything is possible when you're dreaming, when you're asleep. Anything you can imagine, you can do while you're dreaming. So to me, like, when I get to go to sleep, I could be a superhero, I could be flying, I could be doing anything that I could be seeing people, I could be eating, I could be places I've never been before, but somehow feel like I'm there in a dream. And that's why I've always been so drawn to them. I've always been like intrigued by them. I've always wanted to interpret what dreams mean as well, because to me it's like, I know like sometimes like my dreams are trying to tell me something. So for me it's like I want to know the meaning of them all. Or like when I'm having a dream where like I'm losing all my teeth, like all my teeth are just falling out of my mouth, I'm like, why does it happen, and why can I feel it? Why can I feel the realness of my teeth like is leaving, loosening, and just falling, like dropping out of my jaw, like out of my gums, and then just like I'm having to spit them out, and it's just like it's a never ending thing where my teeth just keep spitting and spitting out until I spit them all out. Why can I feel it so intensely? Why can it feel so real? Why do when I wake up from that dream I'm touching my teeth like, oh my god, are my teeth in there still? Or like I take out my retainers really slowly because I'm afraid if I pull them from the dream I just had, I'm gonna pull my teeth out. And I just like, why does it happen? What's the meaning behind it? What's the reason for it? What makes it so that I could feel like this, you know? And that's why I've always just been so obsessed with dreams. And then when the movie Inception came out, and then I learned about lucid dreaming, where you could literally control your dreams, I went wild. Like that movie, I was so blown away. My little brain was like, oh my god, I was right, you know. Like I knew I could control my dreams, I knew I could. So I then, after seeing that movie, that's when I started doing research. That's when I was kind of becoming obsessed with lucid dreaming. I was like, okay, how do you do it? How does it work? How do you know? And then I started researching, like, knowing ways on how to realize how to know you're in a dream while you're sleeping. So while you're sleeping to lucid dream, you know, there's a lot of different things and signs you could you could use to look around to help you realize, oh my god, this is a dream. And I know for one, like if you're curious, one of the signs are if you look at your fingers or your hands and your feet, you got to count all your fingers and toes, because in your dreams you usually have like one or two more or less, you know, so that's a given sign. And then in dreams you can't read things either. That's another one I remember. Like there'll be, even if there are words somewhere, you can't really read them. You can't understand them. And that's how you know. That's like where it signals to you it's a dream. And so with those knowledges in mind, I would like go into my dream trying to lucid dream. Sometimes I feel like I was able to do it. Other times I'm not quite so sure, because the reason why I say I feel like I could do it, because there was sometimes when I would like realize, yo, what? I'm sleeping. And then I'm like, and then to prove it, I would start flying to prove to myself that I'm dreaming. And and here's the thing is I fly so often in my dreams that there's a certain way that I have to do it in order to fly. So it's not like I just jump up in the air and I'm flying. No, it's like I gotta take a running start, and then like once I have some speed, I jump up into the air, and as I'm jumping in the air I have to like start swimming like as if I'm in a pool. So I'm just, imagine I'm running, I just jump into the air, and then I'm just like doggy paddling or just like full on swimming, like doing like some stroke or something, until I'm eventually like high enough to where I'm just soaring, where I'm just flying. That's how I dream. That's how I fly in my dreams. And that's the only way I can fly every time I've tried to fly in my dream. Unless I'm already like flying in a plane in my dream, the only way I could fly, like my physical body could fly, is if I do it that way. And that's the only way I will ever be able to fly in my dreams. Which is why I'm like, okay, so I know how to control them just a little bit, just ever so slightly. But I haven't flown in a dream in a while, just because I kind of did give up on whole lucid dreaming, which is why I was like, I genuinely forgot that was something I was obsessed with. But it was all just locked up in this little brain here. It was all just locked up, and now we're digging in there, we're letting them out. I'm discovering new things. Ooh, it's lovely. Anyway, so yeah, because I was so obsessed with like this idea of lucid dreaming and controlling my dreams, I was consistently like doing more research. I again apologize for the amount of likes I have said. I know I have heard it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyways, yes, so I would always do research. I would find new ways to find out how I could realize I'm dreaming, how I can improve my lucid dreamings, just doing anything I could, you know? And then eventually I just kind of gave up on it. But I do know, like, while I was really, like, hardcore in it, I was getting pretty good with everything. I wasn't necessarily good at controlling it, as in, like, manipulating what would happen in my dream, unless it was I wanted to fly. That was the only real manipulation I was able to do in my dream. But other than that, I got really good at being able to realize when I was asleep, with, like, all the different recognizing the signs that they tell you while I was sleeping. And then like sometimes I would just be dreaming, and then halfway into the dream, or especially this has really helped with my nightmares too. Like, it's significantly helped, because when I'm having like a bad dream, that's when I could kind of like look for the signs, like start noticing the signs and like, wait a minute, I'm dreaming, this isn't real. And then usually after like I start to realize like I'm sleeping, I'm dreaming, like this isn't real, I guess my subconscious like already like kicks in and starts making like the bad dream go away. Which I think is really cool, because that's one thing that the lucid dreaming taught me. So now that's kind of something that I can control, but I don't necessarily realize I'm doing it. It's kind of like a subconscious thing, which is why like once I realize like, wait a minute, this is a dream, that's when everything kind of starts slow simmering down. That's when the nightmare, whatever's chasing me, whatever's trying to kill me or whatever it is, you know, that's when things start like calming down, like it's all start like fading away, like suddenly it's like rainbows and butterflies and all that stuff. So essentially, yes, I was able to manipulate my dreams a little. I just could never do it intentionally. Okay, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So having now all of that information, so like that, I've done that type of stuff since I was a kid, since I was in like middle school, high school. That's when I was like doing this type of stuff. So now, and then by the time I got to college, that's when I like stopped doing all that stuff, when I was like, okay, no, that's weird. And then I kind of forgot about it. But then I got into astrology, I got into spirituality, I got into my car accident, you know, then other factors weighed in, and suddenly my dreams started to get a little bit wilder than before. And this is where, folks, where and why I believe I may be traveling dimensions or places in my dreams. Because the dreams that have been like pretty wild, and I'll tell you about the most recent one I had that was like this, but the reason why I think I'm like traveling in a different dimension or something is because the sign that I use when I finally realize like, oh my god, I'm sleeping, like this isn't really happening, and things don't start winding down, things don't start like easing into rainbows and butterflies, that's where I'm like, wait a minute, is this a dream? Am I really dreaming? But then, here's the kicker. I'll usually look down, like, to see my hands, and then I'm like, this isn't my arms. These aren't my hands. This isn't my body. And then I start, like, looking around, like, at my whole body, and then I try to, like, find a reflection of myself, and there's no mirrors for me to see that it's me. There's no way for me to confirm whether or not I am in my body or I'm in someone else's body. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty wild. I know. But to kind of to clarify a little bit more and tell you the dream that is what led me to talk to more of my friends about this was the last dream I had, where I believe I traveled to a different dimension, to a different world, is because I was having this dream. The best way I could describe it is like the world wasn't necessarily like ending, but it was like the world was ending, but it wasn't, but the world was very much in danger, and like there's no way of surviving there if I would have stayed there. And well, see, in this part, like where the part I'm describing, where I'm like, the world was like ending, that was me dreaming, like I was in my dream, my legitimate dream, dreaming that the world was ending. But I was with someone else, and then all of a sudden this like lady this like figure. It's not, I say lady because that's just kind of the energy. It was like, it was a very feminine, I'm just gonna say female. It was a very female energy that I felt from her. And the thing is, like, the best way I could describe her is more like just like an embodiment, like not so much even a shape, more like the best way I could describe it is like a bubble, but like in the form of a person, you know? And what she said to me, she said to me, she was like, we can't stay here anymore. We have to go. I'm going to take you to the brown world. You'll be safe there. And I was like, what's the brown world? And then she like touched me. And then like I closed my eyes in my dream. I'm like, where are we going? You know, like kind of like tensed up because I don't know where she's taking me. And then when I opened my eyes, I was somewhere else. I was on a completely different place. Whether it was a different part of my dream, whether she took me to a different dimension, a different, you know, wherever realm, I don't know. Wherever this brown, I just know she called it the brown world. Wherever the brown world was, that's where she took me. And I remember when I opened my eyes, I was like in the middle of a field, but not like a grass field, kind of like, well, I guess it was like, oh, I wish I knew the term, but it was kind of like really hard yellow grass, almost like as if it was a farm, like almost like it was wheat, almost like it could have been wheat, looked like wheat on the floor. You know, when you're high up in the desert and there's like a lot of like really hard, like yellowish, brown wheat looking like grass on the ground. That's the best way I could describe it. And I remember like looking around because the brown world looked so, it looked empty. It looked like it had been abandoned, especially where like we were dropped off, is because when I opened my eyes, there was two other people with me that I didn't know. And then I looked at my hands, and that's when I was like, yo, this isn't my body. And the way it felt too is it felt like my mind was in someone else's body, because the way the way like I could just describe it, if you ever seen the movie Being John Malkovich, that then you'll understand what I mean, is because like the only thing I could see was from out of a peephole of just the eyes. You know how when like if you're here when you're awake, you can, you know, you could like not in a sense see, but you know like what your face looks like, because you know what your face seems. You know exactly what you look like, so you know like what your face feels like. You know what your body looks like. You just know who you are in your body. In this one, all like I said, it just felt like I could only see through the eyes. I couldn't see my face. I could only see my arms and like my legs, but never my face. Never my face. And I know my arms and legs weren't my own, but I was in this body. And so I looked to the other people. I'm like, hey, like, where are we? Like, what did we do? And they just, so we essentially, because everything looked so abandoned, we started like walking around and we saw these houses, but again, everything looked like everyone had fled the place. It looked like no one had been there in years. And so we go into one of these houses that we find, and the two other people I'm with, they like go searching around the house to see like maybe if there's anyone they could find, like any food, anything, I don't know why. We were just looking for clues to understand where we were. And so as I'm looking around this house, like as we're entering, like there's writing on the wall, and I can't read it. It's in a different language. I don't understand it, but I could sense, like I couldn't read it, but I could almost feel what the words said, if that makes sense. I couldn't read it, but I felt what the words were saying, and the way like the writing, it just didn't feel right. This whole world, this whole atmosphere, nothing felt normal. It felt very off. And I remember because that I remember seeing my friend's name written on the wall somewhere, and then just after when I saw my friend's name, like that felt fine, that felt familiar, but like all the other writings, it just felt really strange. And my friend whose name I saw, she's a writer, and so what I have come to believe is that some like but this is just because she's such a she Ruth is just such a fabulous writer, is that I believe that maybe possibly she might have written something or done something so wild that it like blew, like the people like revolted, or so, I don't know, I don't something crazy went down involving her in her writing. And that's all I could understand, because eventually we did find some other people as we were like searching through the houses. But as we were going more and more into like this into as we were figuring out where we were at, as to what had happened here, that's when I was like pulled out and I woke up. Yeah. And when I was finally starting to get some answers, when I was starting to learn what was happening, where I was, is when I blinked, and then suddenly I was awake. And then it just felt so real and so odd that I had to tell my friend about it. When I explained to them what had happened, it was just weird. Like, because they didn't look at me like I was crazy. And then when I had said, I don't know, man, maybe I'm like traveling in my dream or something, and they're like, maybe you are. But like the way they had said it is because like they have more knowledge about astrology like than I do, and like all that stuff. So when they said you are traveling, like you do, because that's kind of when I was like, you know what, mate, because then I also explained to them that wasn't the first time that something like one of those dreams has happened to me before, because that's happened to me multiple times. Because I didn't have the knowledge that I do now, I never thought it was nothing more than just like a weird dream or like a bad dream, because that's happened to me quite a bit, quite a lot throughout my life, where I'll be like thrown into like a different world or a different dimension or a different like time or something, where my conscious is put into someone else's body, and I don't know why, and I'm not sure if it's the universe trying to tell me something, or if I'm going back into like one of my past lives, or what it is. But I believe I believe, just because of my knowledge of lucid dreaming and how to control and how to manipulate your dreams, that I'm not dreaming when I'm in the body of someone else, when all I could see is through the peephole of the eyes and I could never see my reflection. That's why I feel like I am in a different world. I'm in a different time. I'm in a different dimension, is because I don't recognize the body that I'm in. I don't recognize the hands. I don't recognize anything. Nothing about the body feels familiar to me. It doesn't feel right. It feels like I'm in someone else's body, which is why that's how I describe it. That's why I say that, is because it truly does. That's the only way I could describe it, is all I can see is through the eye holes, and everything else like around the eye holes just is very like, it's like black around it, you know? So like I just get like this tunnel vision through the eye holes, and that's all I have to work with. And that's when I'm real, and that in those times I know I'm like, okay, I'm not dreaming, or okay, I'm dreaming. It's because, or I would know, yeah, I would tell myself when that would happen to me when I was younger, I was like, okay, this is a dream, this is just a really, really weird dream. And then when I would start to like, okay, when are the butterflies and rainbows gonna happen, when are things gonna like get better, when am I gonna be over out of this, it doesn't come. That's when I'm like, oh my god, what if back then, that's when I was traveling. That's when my mind was just going to different places, to other people's bodies, without me quite understanding or realizing it. It's crazy. It's wild. Trust me, I know. And I apologize if my dream that I explained didn't quite make too much sense. That dream happened last year. It was the most recent one. So that's just me kind of recalling what I could remember from my dream. But yeah, that's what oh, I am so sorry. But yes, that is why I believe I'm traveling to different places, or a different dimension, or a different realm, or a different time, or just somewhere that is not my body while I'm dreaming. That's my reasoning. That's, I don't want to say proof, that's just why I believe what I believe. I am still very much open to knowing if I am wrong or if there are other people who have more information about this. Like, I would love to know, like, truly, please send me this my way so I could better educate myself and know what I'm talking about. Should I have done research before the podcast? Yeah, but I don't want to. I'm not in college anymore. Not to say, like, don't research things just because you're not in school, because absolutely do. Always, like, research stuff. Better your knowledge. Don't learn for yourself. Don't try to learn from someone else all the time, you know? Like, I probably will go and do the research again, because when I was younger, I did. I was going at it on my computer on Google, like, how do you lucid dream different, you know? So I was in it deep. Oh, touched the mic cable again. But yeah, so I was constantly doing research, constantly watching videos, constantly finding ways to perfect or better my lucid dreaming. So maybe now that I remembered, I can, like, not set myself up, but I don't know what the right word is, you know? Like, I do have that drive in me to do the research more about whether or not I am traveling to different places or to different people's bodies when I'm sleeping, you know? It's a possibility anything is possible, folks. Anything is possible. But you know, so that's why I think I'm traveling to different places in my dreams. It's wild. I still can't believe I told you guys. I told you about my obsession with lucid dreaming. I was hard on it. I really loved it. I still do. I still am fascinated by dreams and all that stuff. I haven't really gone into it like that since, like, high school. I stopped. I don't know why. It was a lot of fun. I feel like when I try to control my dreams, I feel like that's when I was, like, at my most creative. Or no, haha, just kidding. We're not gonna go into that. That might get dark. Anyways, yeah, I'm really glad. Actually, I'm kind of, I can't believe it, but I'm really glad I told you guys about my whole lucid dreaming, like, thing I had, my little lucid dreaming phase. But who knew it would eventually come back to not haunt me, but, like, it would come back again, you know, it would come back to full circle. Like, I was meant to, because I've always been intrigued with lucid dreamings and, like, other dimensions and other, like, things. Like, I've never fully believed that we're the only, like, species on this planet. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that we are this is all that we are. This is all you get. Like, I refuse to believe that. I really do. But I've always, since I've been a kid, I've always been drawn to the unknown, to things like this. I've always or like Avatar, The Last Airbender, I've always been really drawn into things like that, a lot of fantasy stuff. Not necessarily to like escape things, but more so to, like, wonder, like, imagine, like, what if we could do that? What if being able to move things with my mind was possible? What if having superpowers isn't necessarily fictional? Or what if mutations like the X-Men did aren't completely false or, like, fiction, you know? Like, I always questioned and I always believed that somehow, some way, someday I'm I'm just gonna have powers. I'm just gonna have powers. And I don't know why, but I just know I will. And it's just, I guess it all just kind of makes sense now. It all starts to come full circle now, where, like, I am now in my spiritual awakening, in my spiritual journey. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of things that are coming around that I didn't know, you know, like the whole idea of, like, me having my clairaudience. Like, I've had that since I was a child. I just wasn't aware of it. I always knew, like, I could hear things, I could feel things, I could do, like, these things that not everyone could do. I just never understood what it was until now. And now I get to look back again, like, like this, realizing that I could kind of manipulate my dreams in a sense, to coming around full circle, realizing I could have full on been in a whole different dimension. I probably was in the brown world, whatever the brown world is. I don't know if it's like if there's actually a place called the brown world. I hope you're not making poop jokes. uh, sorry, but that's what the lady said. She said, "I'm going to take you to the brown world." I have no idea what that meant, where that was. All I got was the brown world. The brown world. Kind of, kind of. I haven't thought about it like that in a while. But yeah, I don't know what the brown world is. I don't know where it is, where I was. I'm so sorry I'm stuttering like this. But that's what she said. What this non-human source of light, like that's I feel like the best way I could describe it is a beam of light, but like in the shape of someone. I feel like I know there's something that I could say that would describe it and that you would be able to look up, but I just can't right now. So that if I do look it up, I'm going to mention it in the podcast next week so you guys know. But until then, yeah, that the best description I can give you is a beam of light in the shape of like a very long, in the shape of a person, but but like more of like a diamond, if that makes sense. Like like it had two arms and two legs and then a very sharp, so in a sense like a star, like a star. Yes, a star, but like a skinny star. Like, but imagine a star as a human. So like their little like pointy hands, they would have like pointy hands and then like pointy legs and then a really like pointy head because like the top point is like would be their head essentially. That's what the person who took me to the brown world looked like. That is the best way I could describe it until I remember the thing I'm thinking about that I could see it clearly in my head. Anyways, yes, she's the one who took me to the brown world and just kind of dropped me off and threw me into someone else's body and was like, all right, bye. Because that's pretty much what it was. She's like, I'm taking you to the brown world now. What? Bang, bang, boozle. There I am in the brown world trying to figure out what on earth happened. Sorry. I just kind of, I don't know. I don't know. I just kind of got this weird feeling right now. Something just kind of dawned over me, like, I don't know. But to be fair, I kind of have been having these weird vibes throughout my home lately, and I don't know why. Might have to sage. Might have to. It's just like last night. I went to go get some food. Me and Jay, we went to go get some food at like midnight because we were hungry, and we went out and we. Sorry, I'm trying to remember exactly. Okay, no, we were in the kitchen and we heard like something outside and we went to like I know, why did you go to check it out? That's the worst thing you could do. And we didn't go outside because we didn't think it was someone was back there. We heard something. We just wanted to make sure like no one was trying to break in. Yeah, that's why we went there, because we were like, okay, if there is someone out there, bing bang boo, so we now have like we have the advantage now. So then we went out there and we checked, but there was nothing there. But when we went outside to look, the vibe was very, it didn't feel right. I didn't like it. Even Jerry was like, I feel like Slender Man's about to like pop up around the corner or something, and I was like, yeah, I feel like someone's about to like just jump out of nowhere right now too. And so we both like just came right back inside. We were like, okay, the coast is clear, like doors locked, alarm set, like we're good. But we still like, it just didn't feel right until we got back inside into the kitchen. That's when the energy kind of like shifted back to what it normally is. And it's just, not necessarily that same energy just came over me again right now, but it just, something similar, I want to say, like kind of came over me. So I'm going to assume that's kind of where I stop my story about this travel, because in case anything may be listening or anything, I don't know. That's where we're gonna continue. We're gonna put an end. We're gonna put a pin to that conversation. But yes, anyways, yes. Please always remember, take everything with what I say with like a grain of salt. These are my beliefs. These are what I think. You do not have to believe me. You do not have to believe what I believe. Just be open to what I am saying is all that I ask. That is all that I ask, is please be open to what I believe. You do not have to believe it. Thank you. But yeah, the vibes, they just haven't been the greatest lately. It's just kind of been kind of off. Weird. Just strange, but not enough to make you like get spooked. So, with that note then, just because I don't know, it just feels weird again. Now I feel weird again. But I'm fine. I'm fine, guys. We're not gonna end Team Money Talks on a weird vibe like that. But yes, that's why I think I'm sorry to kind of just keep jumping like this. It's just because I'm trying to like get rid of this vibe. But anyways, I do hope you guys really enjoyed this week's podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening to me and why I believe I may be traveling while I'm asleep. But again, like I said, please like let me know if you do know more about this, even if you like want to DM me on like Instagram or Twitter or something. For Instagram it's T_Money's treasure trove, and for Twitter it's T_Money's trove. You could find me there. You don't have to follow me. You could just straight up just shoot me a DM and be like, hey, here's what I know about the whole traveling in your dreams, or the whole this is what it means, like please like send it my way. I would love to know more. And if you don't, I mean, I'll find it myself too, I guess. But like if you know it, why not help a person out? All right, guys, it's about enough time we got for this week's episode. So, until next time, guys, this is T Money saying live your life because you're the only one who get it. All right, bye.